to Small Business, Big Moves, a news and entertainment talk show from the Michigan Small Business Development Center, with interviews with some of Michigan's brightest companies, the latest news and information on SBDC services, and answers to some of your most pressing business questions. And now, here's your host, SBDC Regional Director, Ed Garner.
Well, happy holidays and welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Ed Garner and welcome to Small Business Big Moves. This is going to be our fourth and final episode for the year. We'll be back next year with more episodes of Small Business Big News, but this is the last one here for the year. And today we're going to be talking to two additional companies, as we do on each show, that have been growing their businesses, that started from scratch and now well over the $1 million mark. So if you're a growing company out there, or you're helping growing companies out there that's trying to get to that next level, this show is for you. You're at the right place. So if you missed an episode, we've done 3 before. If you missed one of our previous episodes, you can go back to our YouTube or Facebook channels to review those 3 episodes. If you have time over the holidays, maybe you can binge watch the show if you feel so inclined. But we're glad to bring the show to you here today. So the show is kind of featured around or tailored around today around the subject of safety and security. Safety and security. So we know whether you go to a live venue, a sporting event, you're out at a nightclub, you may be even at the grocery store, or certainly if you're in an educational institution at school somewhere, safety has become a big concern in terms of all the violence that has happened at these and other places throughout the country. So we thought we'd feature 2 safety and security companies this time. One is called City Shields Security Services, and the other is called On Duty Gear. You'll hear from both of those a little bit later. But before we get started, I want to introduce you to my SBDC team members that's going to help me with the show today. So first, I want to bring on from our Greater Washington region, SBDC business consultant, Corey Schreiber. Corey, how you doing, Corey?
I'm doing good. Good morning, everybody.
Great.
And welcome to the show.
Great. Thanks for joining us. You'll hear from Corey later in the show. He'll be working our answer desk, and he'll answer some of your pressing questions at the end of the show. Next up, we have Joni Krawcheck, and Joni is from our Northwest region, Traverse City area. Hi, Joni.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Great. Joni will be joining us, and she'll be working our news desk, and so she'll come on and just a bit to give us some breaking and updated business news that's out there that you may be interested in. And then finally, as always, running the show, behind the scenes stuff you'll see here today, is our own program coordinator here at the West Michigan region, Keyshawn Cole. We call her Lady Q. Hey, Q.
Hi, Ed. How are you today?
Good. I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us. This is the SBDC team that'll be helping with the show today. You'll hear from all of these parties a little bit later in the show. Now, as always, we cannot do this show also without our sponsors with this. So our sponsor of the show is Consumers Credit Union, and we're going to bring them back up in a brief moment to give you a little information as well. And so before we bring on our guests, we want to acknowledge our sponsors as well. Now, as you know, this is the 3:00 hour. So you should be taking a break right now. I hope you're taking a break, and I hope you maybe got your favorite beverage in a cup or something and, getting ready to relax and enjoy the show. We want you to sit back here, enjoy our audience. We'll be with you for the next 45 minutes or so for this afternoon kind of talk show break show. And we'll be right back after these messages after we hear from our sponsor.
Yes! We can help your business grow. Direct access to your personal advisor?
Yes!
Award-winning technology?
Yes!
Consumers Credit Union?
Yes!
Bank your business how you want, when you want.
Today we're at Pebble Creek Produce here in Caledonia, Michigan. We grow organic gourmet mushrooms. We're a family-owned business run by a bunch of families. I walked into a consumer's credit union. I have not seen service like this for years. They greeted me, they shook my hand, which no one does anymore. It just blew me away. And it wasn't strictly just all pen and paper and proved to me a credit score. They literally took interest in my small business, and in since, it's been amazing.
We can help your business grow. Local team with local decisions?
Yes!
Communication 24/7?
Yes!
Consumers Credit Union.
Yes!
Bank your business how you want, when you want.
Great. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Ed. How are you?
Good. This is Sandy Bloom, ladies and gentlemen, from Consumers Credit Union. And her and her team are the sponsors of the show today. You got some words for the audience today?
I do. First, thank you for allowing us to sponsor this. I think the SBDC does some great work with our business members, helps them plan a path forward. But I appreciate the time here to just say a few words. Sometimes people don't realize that credit unions actually do business loans, and I'm proud to say that Consumers does, and we have our entire team in-house, and so we're not working with a secondary underwriting company. We are throughout West Michigan. We just opened up our first location in Lansing. We've got another one opening next week in Lansing, and we've got another couple of them planned in Lansing. So moving into the Lansing market here, and very excited about that. But yeah, we love working with our small businesses, and it was interesting to see the Pebble Creek because they're opening up a second location on the east side of the state. We just got a loan approved for them. It was an SBA loan, and so we're helping support their growth into a new market for them as well. So we love to see our business members grow and succeed. So appreciate the time. Thank you, Ed.
Great. Thank you, Sandy, so much. And once again, thank Consumers Credit Union for being sponsor of this season's Small Business Big Moves. And you're certainly a valued partner of the SBDC and certainly do great things for our business community out there. So thanks for being with us today. Stick around and enjoy the show.
Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Now we want to bring back Joni Krawcheck at this time to talk just a little bit about maybe business news that's out there that may be of interest to you. She's got only about five minutes to give you some breaking news, but we always like to throw tidbits of stuff you may be interested in. So we're gonna turn it over to Joni for just a short, brief news segment, and then we'll be back after that with our first guest, Kathy Hendrick from City Shields Security Services. So Joni, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I want to start by saying if anyone tuned into any of our previous episodes, specifically the episode with my colleague Mike Gay, he talked a little bit about the current challenges and concerns that small businesses are facing kind of on a national and global scale. Inflation, recessionary pressure, high interest rates, supply chain, labor struggles, you name it. He touched on those. And while all of those concerns are still entirely relevant, I would like to kind of switch our focus more to Michigan's economy and share some good news. Actually, recently, the Small Business Association of Michigan Foundation released the 18th annual Michigan Entrepreneurial Scorecard report. And I think Ed touched on that briefly. So very, very timely. The report shows that the Michigan economy has held up extremely well in 2021 and into 2022, in spite of all of the national and global economic issues that have been floating around. So what's great to hear for Michigan businesses is that we remain a very solid entrepreneurial performer among our Midwest peers and across the country. So some of the key takeaways that were identified in the report are as follows. Michigan's small businesses have been outperforming the U.S. since 2020. in two particular areas that are measured, which are percent growth in businesses open and in business revenue. And looking at the time frame from January 2020 to February of 2022, the small business open percentage for the US was 3.1% growth, while Michigan experienced 8.5%. So pretty significant, significant percentage that Michigan is showing compared to the US. And with respect to percent change in small business revenue for the same time period, the US showed an 8% growth, while Michigan experienced 24.2%. So again, very significant difference, which is great news for Michigan. And that kind of segues into one of the next takeaways, which is that spending and consumption have remained strong, which also then leads into generating exceptionally strong state sales tax collections. Another key takeaway that I think SBDC that we can attest to is that new business starts have been very robust since the latter half of 2020. And we're also seeing statistically that the 5-year survival rate of small businesses is beginning to increase. So that's critically important if we can get businesses to start, stay in business, and survive, especially during very challenging times. That's significant impact on the Michigan economy. So one significant point surrounding business survival, for 2021, the Michigan business bankruptcy rate were the lowest that they've been in 20 years. So that's a pretty significant measure that of the resiliency, I would say, of Michigan and Midwesterners and Michigan business owners with their grit. Another statistic that I found very interesting, and this is pretty niche because it's specific to venture capital, but data from the Michigan Venture Capital Association shows that Michigan venture capital investment is very healthy relative to the US average, especially for growth in venture capital investment and deal values. So compared to the Great Lakes region, the share of startups that received venture capital in Michigan grew twice as fast over the past 5 years. This is particularly exciting as Michigan continues to embrace and position ourselves for advancement in some of those high-tech industries that are often seeking and ultimately benefit from venture capital investment. So I want to switch gears a little bit to another report that was recently released. It's a report from the Federal Bureau of Economic Analysis, and it shows the economic impact of the COVID pandemic on Michigan's outdoor recreation industry. That report shows that the outdoor recreation industry grew by 15.4% last year, contributed $10.8 billion and close to 110,000 jobs to the state's economy. Those statistics are more than double the rate of growth for Michigan's economy as a whole during that same time frame, and an increase of 1,600 jobs and $1.3 billion in economic impact over 2020. So building off those statistics, recently the state of Michigan announced that it was moving its Office of Outdoor Recreation Industry from within the Michigan Department of Natural Resources into the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And what's significant about that is that demonstrates a commitment to viewing Michigan's outdoors and all of our natural resources and assets as an economic driver, not only with respect to tourism, but also to recruitment and retention of talent and industries, as recreation access is a key factor in attracting businesses to set up here and be able to recruit people to work for their endeavors. So the state director of the Office of Outdoor Recreation, he was recently interviewed by Bridge Magazine. His name is Brad Garman, and he noted some key places where the outdoor recreation scene is changing and how Michigan can continue to capitalize on that. I'll run through these really quickly because I know I want to be respectful of time. So while Michigan has historically had a strong winter sports season, there's a lot of unpredictability with the snow these days. And so statistically, we're seeing some decline in that area. We're seeing kayaking and biking where there are significant increases there. There's a lot more accessibility in those areas. And so there's a lot of opportunity with all of our waterways and trails. We're seeing significant movement there. We're seeing some changes in the manufacturing space that are connected to the outdoor recreation industry. Marquette, for example, is building a business incubator to support outdoor startup companies. And there's also a new company in the Grand Rapids area that does outdoor footwear. So that's, we'll see some of that shift. Also, when I talked about outdoor recreation being a tourist draw, it's also very important, I think, to residents. And so there's a big push to creating recreation opportunities that are close to home, that we as residents and businesses can take advantage of and use those as ways to build our communities. And so there's been some recent allocation in funding for recreational greenways in Detroit and Grand Rapids, as well as sports-related tourism and recreation in northern Michigan, and grants for local parks across the state. So more and more we're seeing a shift that outdoor recreation, again, is not just about tourism and bringing people into the state or to tour around the state, but we're viewing it more as infrastructure and less as an amenity. So that's kind of a shift in thinking. But I think that's really critical as we continue to, strengthen our entrepreneurial scene and hopefully address some of these other issues that maybe some of our businesses will talk about today, maybe labor challenges and subsequent issues tied to affordable housing or workforce housing. So all of these are kind of woven together. But I think it's important to focus on the positive things that we've seen with respect to the strength of our entrepreneurial community and the impact that our small businesses do make in the state. So with that good news, I would like to encourage everyone to support their local small businesses and enjoy the natural beauty of Michigan this holiday season. I will turn it back over to you, Ed.
Great. Thanks, Joni. Thanks for that information. That was a lot to unpack. There are a lot of statistics there on there. Two things I just want to point out. In that scorecard, I heard that number one, Michigan started more businesses, than most states. And also that 5-year mark in terms of businesses staying in businesses over 5 years has also increased too. So those are two good statistics. If you want to get a copy of that scorecard report or the other statistics, the other reports that Joni talked about, please reach out to us, our local SBDC office. We can get you those reports for your own reading because there was a lot there to unpack in such a short period of time. Thanks so much for the information, Joni, and thanks for working our news desk today. Great. So we're about to get into our first guest right now. And our first guest started her business back in 2015. It's a Detroit-based security contract provider based in the Detroit area there. So they're providing security services throughout Detroit and beyond. They've grown this business from 2015 now all the way to be a multi-million-dollar business, over 15 million in revenues right now. And so this is this type of company that started from scratch. Now they've grown into the level that you may want to be as a listener, or that we're trying to get other people to be at. So I want to bring on to the show Kathy Heinrich, president of City Shield Security Services, to the program. Hi, Kathy.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for being with us today. And so we're just going to jump right into this because this is how we do it. And so this is just me and you. I'm going to ask you several questions and we'll kind of see what direction we go and what we can what we can get out to the audience today in terms of business growth. So, but I'm curious though. First of all, I was reading your background that you hold a degree in business, hotel, restaurant, and institutional management from Michigan State University, MSU. So how did someone with that type of degree get in the security business?
I married a police officer.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that addresses is there. So was there any particular issues there that he was bringing up in terms of security?
So my husband Al Shanuda was with in 2014 was with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and when he was working down in the downtown area, he saw a lot of need for a different type of contract security company, different type of security officers. A lot of what the offerings were very tactical. They were very what you would, when you think of stereotypical security officer, that's what they were seeing. And he was going to a lot of meetings, and people were saying, we're looking for someone friendlier. We're looking for more of a concierge style service. We're looking for that friendly security officer who will get the job done, but encourage people to come downtown, encourage people to take advantage of the new venues that were coming downtown at that time. And he came to me with this idea. I said, let's pursue it. Let's look into this. And then we went to some classes with the local SBA chapter over here. And we were taking the very typical how to start a small business, how to get all your items in line so you can start this. And one of the instructors asked us to stay after class, that she wanted to talk to us. And I really felt certain that maybe we had talked too much or we were too loud or something was wrong from the class. And she said, what you guys really need to do is make this a women-owned business. She had guessed that we were a married couple. And she said, what you really need to do is realign everything so that Kathy has the 51% ownership and it becomes a women's owned business. And that's what we did. And the great thing from my background in hospitality is that I'm able to bring that different type of security officer to our company. And I'm able to focus our training on more customer service skills and understanding when people are coming to events or coming into buildings, what they're looking for as a guest experience. And that's largely based from my hospitality background. And that gels really well with my husband's experience in the security world. And we've kind of have a good mixture, and we're able to offer that different type of security service.
Okay, great. So I just heard something there. So you're a certified women-owned business. So
yes,
has that we often get that. Should I certify? Should I get this my certification? Has that really helped you at all to get that certification?
It has helped. We've been certified for a year. I completed it last year in 2021. It was something that, as we were a smaller company, I didn't see the need for. I didn't want to take the time to do it. I saw it as time consuming and not somewhere where I wanted to focus. And I wish I had done it sooner. A lot of the people that come to us for our service ask about that. It is something that we discuss quite a bit. And one of those things that I wish I had sat down and completed it earlier in our time.
Okay. Well, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And that's encouraging. Certainly the SBDC, if someone's interested in getting a woman-owned certification, we can help guide you through the process to find out how you can get that done. But that's good to hear because we often get that question. So I want to turn back on what the types of workers that you have, because you said a few things there. So your website says that you have the goal of elevating and professionalizing the contract security industry. So what do you really mean by that? Professionalizing and elevating the level of service. So most people may think of security people as, I think you even referred to as like the mall cop stereotype deal. So what do you mean by professionalizing and elevating the industry?
So Alan, I really believe that security can be a long time career. It can be your profession. It can be something that you can do and raise a family, and it can be a lifelong goal. There's educational opportunities. There's opportunities for growth and advancement, especially at our company. And we see a lot of times, and you have to decide when you come in as a security officer, you have to decide, is this going to be a job or a career? And here at City Shield, we have a lot of career opportunities. We have a lot of long-term accounts that you can stay on. and advance your skills. And if you just want a job and you just want a short-term account, we have those and you can work on those. So a lot of people come to us for both of those opportunities and we're able to fulfill. But we really feel that security officer is an honorable career, and it is something that we want to raise the professionalism of that industry and have everyone understand that you can be a security officer for a long 20-year career and find it fulfilling and raise a family on it.
Great. I think I also read that you really try to pay a living wage,
Yes.
to your employees too, so they
Mhm.
can make a career choice. Is that right?
Yes, it is. That was one of our founding principles, is that you have to be able to have this job and be a security officer and live on it. And we will not take accounts that pay a very low bill rate. We only focus on those accounts where we can pay folks what we consider is a living wage.
Okay, great. So tell me, what type of security services do you do? Do you do live venues? Do you do homes? I mean, do school security? What types of what do you specialize in?
We try to do all different types of security. Yes, we do special events and entertainment. We also have construction sites. We're at the Gordie Howe International Bridge. We do automotive. We work with a lot of companies downtown. We're kind of all over. We try to diversify and we try to meet the needs of many different clients and many different types of employees.
Okay, that's great. So there are other companies that do what you do, right?
Mhm.
You do have competitors. So what's your secret sauce, so to speak? What makes you so special?
Our secret sauce, I really think it's the team that we have built around City Shield that helps it out. We have kind of a grit, grind, relentless. We try to maintain a lot of flexibility. We try to meet our clients' needs. All of our clients know that we are local. We are Detroit based. If you need to reach out and you're not getting the service that you need, ownership is like 2 phone calls away. You can always get a hold of us. They can always get a hold of me. And that's one of our differentiators. Another one of our differentiators is we have 24 hours of in-house training before you even get onto a site. So if you were coming in as an applicant, we would explain all of this to you, and we provide you with the necessary skills that you can go out to the job site and be effective and be comfortable in what we're asking, the duties that we're asking you to do.
Okay, that's fantastic. So the show is called Small Business Big Moves. So
Yes.
we got to talk about some big moves here. So I heard that you lost a lot of your business when the pandemic hit because you're doing a lot of live venues, sporting events, and those places had to shut down, as we know, for some time. And so I'm sure you had a tremendous drop in your business at that particular time. So how did you get through that and come back on the other end? We're not over the pandemic yet, but we're still, places are back open now. So.
Yep. So in 2020, March of 2020, City Shield was more of a special event security company. 97% of our business was in special events, working at Little Caesars Arena, Fox Theater, things of that nature. When COVID shut down all of the sporting events, we kind of had to take some time and pivot. And we were very fortunate through a lot of networking. We do a lot of networking, a lot of talking about our company to anyone who will listen. Some folks at an automotive company heard that we were down and realized that we had over 100 people who were sitting idle, about 150 to 180 who might be looking for work. And they called us and they said, we're trying to reopen the automotive plants. Would you guys be interested in going from screening people to go into venues to doing health screening to get people into work? And we were able to do that. And that grew to almost 500 people a day. So we had to very quickly triple the size of our company to fulfill that need.
Okay, great. So what is your employee count up to now? Well, how many employees do you have now?
We're at 980 folks on our roster, and we have almost 700 people full time.
Wow, that's a lot of people. Have you had problems finding people? We're hearing it every day how people are trying to find more talent for their businesses. Are you having that problem?
We have been very blessed. We're very fortunate. We've been able to find the staff for the accounts that we have and the clients that are requesting staff. We have a very aggressive recruiting and hiring team, and they have open interviews 4 days a week. And we keep looking for people, and we've been very blessed to find them. And one of the great things is the staff here at City Shield refers over their friends and family to us, and we're able to hire a lot from that base. So we've been very blessed, and we're able to find folks.
Okay, great. So some of your moves you made was you got the certification, you got some automotive stuff. I think you personally went through some emerging leaders training through the U.S. Small Business Administration. Are there other big moves that really have gotten you to where you're at today from, to get up to that over $15 million mark?
We've done a lot of diversifying of accounts. We try to service a lot of different industries so that if one maybe goes down for economic or COVID reasons, we're able to kind of pivot over to others to keep staff working. But it's just been a lot of, grit, grind, and relentless, as we say, and just a lot of making it happen.
Okay, so diversification is what I'm hearing in
Yes.
that. So that's fantastic. That's great. So what SBDC services have you used throughout this journey?
We have done a lot with helping. SBDC has helped us learn how to scale, how to keep everything in proportion, help us through the growth spurt. We were working with them right before COVID hit. And then through COVID, Dan Brophy has been with us every step of the way to answer questions and to make sure we were continuing on the path we wanted to be on.
Okay, great. Well, continue to use our services. As you know, the services are no cost to you. And so we're there when you need us for as long as you need it. So keep using this. And I'm glad you found them a benefit on there as well.
Most definitely.
Yeah, okay, great. So, wow, our time is coming to a close already. I can't believe it. Is there any other advice you'd like to give our listeners to companies just trying to grow their business?
I just say, build a great team around you, network all the time, and everybody you talk to, mention your business, get it out there so that when opportunities arise, they'll know exactly who to call.
Okay, great. Last question though, I got to ask you about hub zones. Most people don't know about those historically underutilized business zones. You're in one. Does that help you at all? Final question.
Yes, we did purchase a building in a hub zone. A lot of our clients who are looking for suppliers who are based in hub zones with employees based in hub zones do ask about it, and it has helped us, yes, with contracts.
Okay, great. Okay, so we may have some of our viewers may want to reach out to you. So we'll certainly provide your contact information that they want to get and find out more about the Hub Zone program, the Women's Certification Program, the SBA programs. You used a lot of tools, because that's what I'm hearing, though, and to our listeners to use all these tools that's available to help you grow your businesses. So we appreciate you being on the show so much. Unfortunately, our time is in for your segment. We wish you happy holidays, continued growth. And next time I'm at an event in Detroit area in particular, I'm gonna be looking around for a City Shield employee.
We'll be there. Thank you,
All
and
right.
happy holidays to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Great. That one once again. That was Kathy Heinrich from City Shield Services, Detroit-based company doing fantastic work and grow business to over 15 million in revenues there. So you heard some of her tidbits there of how you could get there yourself as well. So at this time, we want to take a short commercial break. It's about, I think, 2-3 minutes. And so if you're trying to refresh your coffee, trying to go to the restroom right quick, you got about a couple of minutes to do so. And then we're going to be back with our second guest, Paul Riddell from On Demand Gear. So On Duty Gear, excuse me. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
My name is Rashay Lonzo. I'm the owner of DRM International Learning Center located in Lansing, Michigan. DRM International Learning Center is a private state licensed vocational school. We do vocational skills training, so like medical assistant, certified nursing assistant, phlebotomy, patient care tech, and we also do construction programs, so like drywall, carpentry, and residential builders. When my husband and I decided to go into business, we faced finding out how to access capital to start our business. So we tapped into our retirement and our savings accounts, and that was how we opened up and started our business in 2002. Being African American entrepreneurs was a challenge. We did face some barriers, trying to make the right connections to kind of get started. We got connected with the Michigan Small Business Development Center at Lansing Community College to collaborate on their small business development programs that they have for entrepreneurs. My experience working with Tina and Daryl were phenomenal. And it was because they were able to break down concepts and give me ideas on how to do marketing and my strategic plan. They were also able to help me understand my financials, which was very important as we talked about where we wanted to be in the next 5 to 10 years. Both Tina and Daryl helped me focus on the next growth and what that looks like for us, which was purchasing a 6,800 square foot building. And we plan on adding a licensed practical nursing program. And we're looking forward to purchasing and offering a CDL program. Right now we have a 95% employment placement rate because we focus on making sure that those students that are looking for employment, that they have jobs by the time that they complete our program. Thank you to the Michigan SBDC for allowing entrepreneurs like myself the opportunity to connect with professional consultants that really focus on getting to know who you are and truly caring about your experience and the growth of your company.
And welcome back to Small Business Big Moves. I'm your host, Ed Garner. If you're just joining us, we just heard from Kathy Heinrich from City Shield Security Services. And now up next, we're going to bring on our second guest. This company is called On Duty Gear. They make uniforms and supplies for both police, the military, fire, EMS. And so you heard of a company that supplies to people to do it. This is the people that provides the equipment and uniforms and stuff for security purposes. This company started out as kind of a side hustle business and now has grown to over $3 to $4 million. So I want to bring on the show the CEO of On Duty Gear, Paul Riddell, to join us. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Ed. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, great. Thanks for being here today. So I got to start, Paul. I got to start out with you to have you tell the audience where you're at right now.
I'm in Disney. I'm at Port Orleans French Quarter Resort in Disney.
Doing what? What are you there for?
Well, a little bit of business down here, and a pleasure too. We're going to go see the PNC Championship. That's the annual event where Tiger Woods plays with his son Charlie, and Jack Nicklaus and his son, and Gary Player, and all these Vijay Singh, all these awesome players get together and play a kind of pro-am round.
That sounds like great fun.
Yeah.
We're looking up here in Michigan. They're talking about the weather's going to get a little worse over the next day or so. So you're probably in the right place. We wish you could be there with you for the golf tournament.
I tried to cover it so you didn't have to see the weather outside.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that. Don't get us depressed, and stuff. And I'm glad you didn't take it from the golf course. That would be more depressing.
That was another option, but I didn't do it.
All right, Paul. So let's get into it. On Duty Gear. So you come from a long line of law enforcement folks, and I believe you were a police officer yourself for like 15 years. So just tell people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a police officer, medically retired out of Port Huron. I was actually in my family lineage. They did a genealogy on us, and our family goes back generationally in law enforcement. As a matter of fact, one of our ancestors or premier generations was one of the original Shire Reeves, which now we know as sheriff. Is a Shire Reeve in England with his own castle, and so you fast forward, and as far back as we can see and can find, at least one male member of each family has been in law enforcement somewhere, and which would explain the call, because before being a police officer, my father, of course, was sheriff deputy, and my grandfather, and going back, and my brothers, and so on. But I was in sales. I was doing sales. I had a great career going, and the calling just would not leave. And so I took the call and became a police officer in Port Huron, and Have an incredible career. You know, when you find something that's made for you, you just know it. And that was me. I found my niche in life, and I very, very much enjoyed it. It was really fulfilling my own personal dreams. And then the rug kind of got pulled out from underneath me when I got into a car crash, and that abruptly ended my career. But at least I'm here today. I'm talking with you, and so that's a blessing I never would have imagined.
Okay, great. So I'm so sorry to hear about the accident that ended your career. But when one door closes, Paul, another door opens, and I think this is what made it happen. So tell us, you told me you started this kind of as a side hustle, kind of just doing it on the side, and now it's growing into a full-fledged business. And so is that why you started it? Because of your accident? Is that made you get into the business?
Well, I was actually doing it a little bit before, just because, identified, so many businesses start because you identify a need or a niche, right? So I identified a need to have some kind of representation where we were. The closest equipment store or body armor location was in Detroit. And, we're in Port Huron, about 45, 50 miles northeast of that. So nobody really came. We always had to go to it. So, and there's a number of us there, and I just thought I'd fill a need by being able to work with somebody. And fortunately, the body armor company put me under the wing of their East Michigan sales rep, and kind of grew underneath him. And it really was just a side hustle for some extra money. As we know, the police officers don't always make the best wage, so it was just kind of a side hustle, make extra money. And then when the accident happened, my wife kind of let me feel sorry for myself for a little while. And then she picked me up and she says, you know what, I'm starting a business, and I'm going to put you to work. So that's what we did.
Okay. Great for you. Great job. So tell us, what type of products do you sell?
We do body armor and uniforms, really our two main lines. And then we have equipment, duty gear, the flashlights, the leather gear, and all that other good stuff. So anything pretty much from badges to boots, we do it all.
Okay. And you said you kind of specialize kind of in the police, fire, military areas, but do you sell to the general public too? Could I come in and buy
so in our store, it really is germane to first responders. Okay. So you would come in and look at it, and there'd be nothing that would really be, besides maybe looking at some of the stuff that the police use, there'd be nothing really for you. So we encourage the civilians to shop our online store, ondutygear.com. We encourage them to go there and shop there, and they can buy things online. And of course, certain items are restricted, like we don't sell body armor to civilians. We don't sell handcuffs to civilians, that kind of thing. But there's plenty of things on there for people to buy, from flashlights to boots.
Okay, great. So you do e-commerce sale. You mentioned that, and I believe you're up to 2 physical locations as well, retail locations. So tell me about that growth. You started in 1999, and now you grew. What was the kind of the progression to getting up to the retail store business?
So in 99 was when I kind of started the side hustle thing. And it was just really taking care of my PD and a couple other places around us. And then once the accident occurred, and my wife basically started the company, we had about $180 to our name when we started the company. And so then we just decided, and we moved it from, you could say it was in the front seat of my patrol car, and then we moved it to my house where our e-commerce site started up. And it was basically a computer cupboard in our front room. And then we moved out into a spare bedroom of the house, and then we went out to the garage. It just kept getting bigger and bigger until we decided we were going to open our first location in downtown Port Huron.
Well, that's fantastic. We get a lot of businesses at the SBDC that start that same way. They started kind of as a side hustle, just kind of maybe to supplement their income. Then they grow to the next stage, the next stage, the next stage. So it's good to see you got 2 locations that you're doing business out of now. So you got the business up to, I think, over 3-4 million now. So did you use any specific SBDC services along the way?
We did. I'll tell you, I could almost say, what didn't we use SBDC for, to be honest with you? One of the best things I think really that ever had, is probably going to sound like a commercial for SBDC, honestly, Ed, because I was a cop. I didn't know anything about growing a business. I didn't know anything about business. And my wife came from a collections background, so she knew that, and I knew sales, but we didn't know anything about growing a business. And one of the best things that ever happened was we stumbled onto SBDC, and it just really opened our eyes. It opened our eyes to a new world of business development services that we never knew existed. And all this stuff was, I was really surprised. I was thought there's got to be a catch somewhere, right? They're going to get you somewhere. There's a hook. And it was, they just kept saying, no, these are offered at no cost because we would love to see your business grow. And that's exactly what it was. So we've used a number of services from HR support. We've used them for that. We've used them for, kind of like accounting services. One of the things, I went to a class with Mike Gay, talk about know your numbers, how to look at your reports and tell if your company's doing okay or not. I never even knew that was an option to do something like that. So now we have that, and really that's one of the primary things I look at every month when I get our monthly reports. I start running numbers and I make sure that we're still doing well and we're going in the right direction.
Great. Well, I'm glad, Mike. Paul, I'm glad you found us. You mentioned Mike Gay. Mike was in my head. So I'm glad you found us. We're not trying to be the best kept secret out there. No. We want people to know about these services and things that we do because there are no costs to you as a client. So continue to use those in your growth. That's fantastic.
Yeah, Harry Blackburn has been amazing.
Okay, great. So in the time we got left, the show is called Small Business Big Moves. So I want to hear about what do you consider has been some of the big moves in your companies that help you particularly get over that $1 million mark as you grew your company?
So I think probably one of the very first big moves we made, again, I said I was a cop and really didn't know anything about business. The first big move we made was transitioning from a e-commerce only to a retail location. Opening that store was a big deal. And I purposefully, we opened it in Port Huron because it was a little bit of a smaller venue versus, going to something like Detroit, trying to do that. And the purpose simply was that if we knew that if we could prove it on a smaller model, we could scale it and it would scale well. And so that was probably the first big move we made, and we didn't run too fast. We built our foundation out accordingly. And that was one of the smartest things I think we did, was to do that. And then transition down to Clinton Township location, where that location is much larger. And we're attracting clientele from all over the place into that store. So that was one of the very big moves that we did. And then going direct with uniforms. We talk about small businesses starting up, and it's not all rainbows and unicorns and lemonade, right? It's grind. And so we went direct with a uniform manufacturer for the first time, talked to a few different ones, and finally got one to take a chance on us. They wanted $12,000, which we didn't have, to sign in with them. And we got them to let us in at $6,000, which we didn't know where we were going to find it, but we did it. And now we're we are the largest distributor for them in a 5-state region. The Body Armor Company, we're their top 5 distributor nationwide.
Wow, that's fantastic. So if you had to give some advice to somebody else trying to grow their business, trying to get to that next level, is there one piece of advice you would give them?
There's probably several, to be honest with you.
Give me a couple. At a time.
Don't be afraid to start small. One of the biggest mistakes I think people make is they go too fast. They want to get that $1 million thing overnight, and trust me, it happens, but it's extremely rare where you're an overnight success. So don't be afraid to start small. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Make sure you grow your foundation. The two of the best pieces of advice I could give people is have a great attorney and a great accountant, because they can help you through the leanest of times, that could really sink, or the whole sink or swim analogy. They can help you with that. And watch, look at everybody else. Be aware of your competitors, but don't focus on them. And watch. Keep your ear to the ground. Listen for the mistakes that others are making, so you don't make those. You're going to avoid the potholes. There's many potholes on the way to building a successful business. And you just kind of want to watch out for those. As the CEO or captain of the ship, your job is to steer the rudder through those And so by kind of keeping your ear to the ground and being aware of everything going on, you'll learn from others' mistakes.
Well, that's great advice. That's great advice, Paul. We
Thank you.
recommend and tell people some of those same things. The use of professionals when you need them. You know, don't be afraid to fail. That controlled growth, not trying to grow too soon. All those things is great advice for people trying to grow to the next level. So, you know, if you're out there, you're trying to do that, certainly the SBDC can do that. We actually have a specialty team called the growth team. So as you approach that $1 million mark, you know, we can get you over to them for some specialized services. But even at the regional level, we have a number of services that can help you. So don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, particularly, I think it's just like your wife told you, Paul. You know, a lot of us men sometimes we need a little kick in the butt sometimes. I think to get us going. You know, so yeah, don't be afraid that we're out here. We want to help you. We're here to help. We may not be able to help with everything, but hey, you're not losing anything but your time. So
you know what, and I'll tell you real quick that one of the best things I think that ever happened to us too was working with the SBDC. As we got close to that $1 million number, it's almost like they got as invigorated as we were. And they even worked, I think, even harder to work with us to push us up over that mark, which was incredible. And they helped us find and secure financing for some different lines that we needed. It was absolutely incredible.
Great. Well, thanks, Paul. Your success is our success. So we want you to continue on that path. Unfortunately, our time is wind up for your session. So I'm going to let you get back to your vacationing out there in Disney and enjoying the golf tournament out there. You know, think of us as you want to, but once you get back, the business will be here. We'll still be here to help. So enjoy your holiday there and the upcoming holidays as well. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate it. Thanks to your team.
All right. Bye now.
Take care.
Okay, great, guys. I think we're going to take a quick 30-second break, and then we're coming back to answer a few questions, prepared questions that we often get throughout the field from Corey Schreiber. And then we're going to wrap up for the show. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
At the Michigan SBDC Network, our mission is simple: to help businesses grow and succeed. Our consulting, training, and information services make it easier for businesses to reach their potential. Whether you're currently in operation or just starting out, we have the right tools, resources, and expertise to help you succeed. Visit us online to get started on your path to success today.
Great, and we're back. So the last segment that we have is our question and answer session, the answer desk, and working the answer desk today is going to be Corey Schreiber, and asking the questions is going to be our own Lady Q. So we're going to take a few questions in the time that we have, and try to get some good answers for you for some pressing questions that we often get here at the SBDC. So take it away, Corey Q.
All right. Thanks, Ed. And hi, Corey. How are you?
I am doing all right. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, same to you. So I am in charge of asking the questions. And so we will go ahead and jump right in since we just have a few moments left in today's show. So similarly to Paul and Kathy, I mean, a lot of us want to get our businesses to where they are. So maybe we can be guests on the show and talk about the big moves that we've made. So can you talk a little bit about promotion and maybe how we can grow ourselves?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Where I'd like to start with this is 90+% of the clients I talk to miss one simple step to help grow their sales. They'll spend time and money on websites, social media, collecting emails, doing newsletters, putting out flyers, mailers, but they won't ask one simple question. When you have a successful sale, finish a successful project, have a happy, satisfied client, ask them if there's anyone else who could benefit from your product or service. Ask if there's anyone else they think you should talk to. And that's right, 90+% of the clients I talk to simply don't ask for referrals, and most of those didn't even think of doing so. The second part of asking for referrals and personal sales in general is to maintain as much control of the correspondence as possible. I consider there to be 3 levels in maintaining control over the correspondence for referrals. And you start with number 1 in this list, and then we'll work our way down. And it's typically based on the client's comfort level. Number 1, the customer or client does a direct introduction for you in person, via email or phone. This helps by carrying the full reputation of the referral source. Second, the client or customer provides you the referral's name and information. This will at least allow you to name drop the referral source. It doesn't necessarily, however, carry the full reputation of the referral source. And then third, the client customer says they will pass your information along. Now you just have to hope that they do and your information doesn't get lost. Of course, it's very beneficial to follow up with a reminder if necessary. Getting the referring person's contact info is obviously very important here. I know in many cases, I tend to give people 3 business cards. One is going to be to drop. One is going to be to get lost, who knows where. And finally, a third one that we hope actually gets held onto. So the next time you find yourself with a satisfied customer, ask if they can recommend any more.
I think those are all very good tips. And even Kathy mentioned that a lot of her employees come from referrals. So we know how important that is and how that can really impact our business. So very good insight and advice there. Let's see, what's our next question? All right. So I think it was Paul who talked a bit about how he started his business from his patrol car and then moved into his home until he was able to expand. Can you speak a little bit as to why is it often a good idea to start small?
Certainly. And something to keep in mind here is that it's not always best or possible, but starting small provides several key benefits. It allows you to grow with the company. You get to learn the nuances of your business, your customers, your industry. You get to wade into the pool and test the waters instead of diving head first into the deep end. It helps you lower your risk, especially financially. A couple points there that I know we heard Paul touch on. You can pivot more and faster if you need to. The mistakes you learn from aren't nearly as large or costly. It helps you build an initial base of loyal customers and clients that you can turn into brand ambassadors for your company.
All right. Well, Corey, I think that is the end of our segment. So we want to turn it back over to Ed, who will close us out today. Thank you for providing all of those answers to our most pressing questions. And I guess we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays, everyone.
Great. Thanks, Corey, for giving us a few answers to a few of our pressing questions. If you would like for us to address a question that you're facing in your business, stay on and watch the credits at the end. There'll be an email address you can send your questions in. We may air them on a future episode. We only take 2 or 3 questions per episode of some of your most pressing business questions, but great questions there and great responses to Corey. Certainly reach out to an SBDC consultant if you have specific questions about your business that we can address. We do want to thank you all for joining the show today as we conclude. Once again, it's the holiday season. We want everybody to enjoy their time. Want you to be safe. We'll be coming back in 2023 with more episodes and more guests of Small Business Big Moves so that you can hear directly from companies about how they grew their companies to that well over $1 million mark. And so with that, we'd like to thank you for being here. And as always, I like to say, your break is over.